The Civil War was the first war in which railroads were an integral part of the war. The rails were used as both a daily source of supplies, as well as means of moving troops either routinely or in time of extraordinary need. The Union started the war with a large lead. It had twice the rail mileage as the South. Even more importantly, it had abundant numbers of engines and rolling stock, as well as the ability to produce more. The South, on the other hand, had its one facility for producing engines converted to the production of armaments. Another serious handicap for the South was the lack of standardization of its rails. Each railroad in the South had a different size rail. Thus, while trains in the North could move freely between different rail lines, in the South, troops or supplies had to be offloaded and then reloaded on board different trains. Rails were important from the start. In the first days of the war, Union troops were attacked in Baltimore while traversing between rail stations there. In the first major battle of the war, Bull Run, the decisive moment occurred when Joseph Johnson's troops arrived as reinforcements from the Shenandoah Valley where they had been. How did they arrive? By rail. Perhaps the most important troop transport of the war was the reinforcement of Chattanooga after the defeat in the Battle of Chickamauga. 15,000 troops and all of their equipment from the Army of the Potomac were transported in less than 10 days from Virginia to Chattanooga on 4 railroads. Rails soon became prime targets of raiders from both sides. Cavalrymen would head out, attempting to destroy rail lines, rolling stock, and vulnerable bridges. The highly successful United States Military Railroad, run by General Hout, however, was adept at rebuilding rail lines and bridges in record time, and the North had an unending supply of locomotives. Rails were also the strategic goal of many a campaign. Harper's Ferry was important because it controlled the main east-west line from Washington. Chattanooga was important because it controlled the South's main east-west line. Atlanta was the rail center of the South, and its capture and destruction was irreplaceable. As the war progressed, the condition of the South's rails and rolling stocks became ever more precarious. While Union troops had rail services almost to their trenches at Petersburg, the South's rails were tattered by this time and could barely supply enough food to feed its army.